keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. We told you, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. We're going to have special episodes all week. In fact, for the rest of the season, I'm sure.
Accurate.
And Alex, we got a bunch of news because Kyle Shanahan talked to the media. So there's just a bunch of stuff we can go over, updates on Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Ambry Thomas. So then we got all that. Plus we got, the Los Angeles Rams and marketing pro himself trying to market the 49ers fans out of showing up at SoFi. Will they be successful?
Doubt, and I'm gonna hit that doubt button right now. I don't think it's gonna be successful.
There's a doubt button?
I think there is, man.
Oh, wow,
I'm pretty sure that there is a doubt button.
Well done.
But look, at the end of the day, poor marketing pro and poor Rams fans. I mean, let's talk about, since you brought it up, let's just talk about it now, and just discuss this and what's actually happening with this team and what is going on with the 49ers. So first and foremost, you had the Rams doing everything in their power, literally everything in their power, to try and prevent 49ers fans from getting their hands on tickets. So they limited it to just people in the certain extended LA area with LA zip codes and things of that nature. And then, Ticketmaster followed suit, and a lot of people were upset, and people started buying tickets for other people. But Ant, what really happened, and I don't think what Ticketmaster expected, was that these people, if they can't get their tickets directly from Ticketmaster for a little bit cheaper, they're just going to spend the extra cash and dough and buy the tickets up off second-party, third-party sites, and buy them up off of people who are marking up and reselling their tickets. I saw a tweet literally within, I think it was like an hour or so of the Rams game being official, that a Rams season ticket holder was telling his buddy, "Hey, I got my tickets," and the guy was like, "Sweet, you going? Who you taking?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm selling these things.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to." And he goes, "You're gonna sell them to Niners fans?" He goes, "Yeah, those idiots will overpay." And it's like, you're right, those idiots will overpay. But those idiots are gonna show up in a big way, and your team's gonna be at a disadvantage at home. So way to support your team, my guy. I'm glad you have your priorities there. Could have sold them to Rams fans also probably for a markup, but decided to sell it to the idiot fan base that is the 49ers. So good on him. Good look on him, Ant. But so many people were doing that Ticketmaster realized that they weren't going to make any money?
Yeah, basically what happened was they weren't selling enough tickets. Number one, their prices are kind of higher than they normally should be. But yeah, they weren't selling the volume of tickets that they thought. Rams fans weren't buying tickets for the NFC Championship game.
I'm stunned.
So Ticketmaster, of course, claimed that, or it got claimed that due to pressure, but we all know what it comes down to, the almighty dollar. They opened it up, and there's no longer that restriction. So anyone that wants to go to a game is not required to send, an area code or anything like that. You can just go ahead and buy your tickets and go. But there are tickets still available on, from secondhand. You can get them from pretty much anywhere. And yes, Rams fans are willing to sell to 49ers fans. My favorite Twitter post yesterday was, I don't even care about the Rams. If you give me $50 more than I paid for these tickets, if you're a 49er fan, great. I'm going to sell you those tickets. $50 more, Alex. Don't threaten 49er fans with a good time.
Don't threaten me with a good time, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Theodis Barber. I think Theodis Barber has been... Dude, did you hack our phones? I know Mostert's on IR, but are the Niners just keeping him for next year? Theodis, we'll talk later.
Yeah,
I guess. I'm assuming Theodis has hacked our phones or something, man, because you and I off air have been talking a lot about Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, we have been talking about Raheem Mostert because Raheem Mostert's timetable for return is somewhere coming up here in February where he, there's a possibility. I don't know where he's at. We haven't heard anything. We know he got off crutches sometime in December, but things
early December.
So things could be trending, but the overall mark from when he had his surgery until now is it's getting close to the time where he could potentially have returned.
It's supposed to be a 3-month recovery time, was what I saw. Yep. October 20th was the surgery date. November 20th, December 20th, January 20th. Guess what, folks? We're past that, which means if you get out of this NFC Championship game, you got another 2 weeks. There is an opportunity. I don't know how big. I don't know how small. I don't know if it's 50-50, if it's less than 50-50, more than 50-50. But there is an opportunity for Raheem Mostert to potentially come back and play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to at least keep an eye on it. I don't know what percentage that is. because I have no idea where he's at with his recovery or if he's going to be in shape
or where his rehab is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not putting a lot of stock on it, but it is something that's definitely caught our eye recently. And something that we've been keeping tabs on, and we kind of teased it a little bit, like, hey, we had something we were focusing on, because it's something that's not out of the realm of possibilities for him to be coming back just from timetable period. Of course, we don't know, any of the particulars, but that could be an amazing change.
And we don't have a source. There's no inside information here. This is just understanding his surgery,
exactly.
what it means, how long he's been out for, and what the possibility is based on when the Super Bowl is being played. There's a shot. There is a chance. But until you hear anything from Kyle Shanahan or the 49ers, and guess what? You're not going to hear nothing. No one's going to say a word about this until you get out of this NFC Championship game and get closer to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Why would anyone bring it up? There's no reason to.
No.
Oh, you know who you're going to have, your horses that you're going to have in the NFC Championship game to go against the Rams.
Accurate.
And you're going to have to go in there and get it done with those guys. So there's no reason to bring it up. There's no reason to talk about it. Let's see if it gets mentioned after the NFC Championship game. If they all of a sudden open a practice window or something, like, but we'll see. It might not even be a thing. It might be that there's no chance of this happening. But we won't know until the 49ers possibly win this game, and then it could become a relevant thing to watch.
It could down the road eventually become a relevant thing to watch. We'll see what happens there with that, Ant. But there are other important news updates and other things actually happening in 49ers land that we can not only discuss, but kind of dive into, because you had a lot of updates. Kyle Shanahan came out today and had I think it was just a phone call with the media, essentially, in which he gave some updates on everybody. Trent Williams is the first guy that they talked about, that he talked about and discussed. And the x-rays were negative, which we know, and we posted on the community page a little bit earlier today here on YouTube. But they're calling it very similar to what Jordan Willis is dealing with, which is a high ankle sprain that kind of isn't a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Shanahan's being as clear as muddy water on this.
Oh, okay.
He really is. And they're saying that Jordan Willis, basically, it was reported all week that he had a high ankle sprain, and that there was a possibility he could play. And then when he went out there and played, like, wow, this guy's playing through a high ankle sprain. And then now they're clarifying that maybe it wasn't a high ankle sprain, but actually something else that he's dealing with. And Kyle Shanahan just says to the media that it could be a high ankle sprain, it could be a low ankle sprain. So, Alex, maybe it's just a medium ankle sprain. I have no idea at this point.
That would be a first.
Yeah,
that would be a medical miracle.
So they basically said this with Trent Williams is something. So some older injuries that are coming into effect. So maybe he's tweaked it at some point during the season.
Possibly.
And now he's got this reoccurring thing that's popped up. So we'll see. They're optimistic. They're hopeful that he's going to be out there. I think any chance of him being out there, he's going to be out there. He wants to be out there. He wants to be playing in these games. It's very crucial. That's why he came back to the 49ers, was to be able to play in these big time moments and games, and he wants to be able to get to the Super Bowl. So I look for him to push to be out there. I have no guarantees he's going to be out there, but Kyle Shanahan is definitely giving us nothing on this.
It's true. He's not really going to. Shockingly, Ant, you're not going to get an extra bit of information from Kyle Shanahan, especially if he doesn't have to give that information out, and I cannot wait for certain talking heads to be very upset about that. Well, I enjoy the fact that, you're not going to get any info, because nobody's going to get that info. You're not going to find anything out in detail with Trent Williams until they're either 100% sure that he's going to be good to go, or until later at the end of the week. But Jordan Willis has been dealing with his stuff. He played, so that is a positive thing for Trent Williams. I know they're hoping they're going to manage him all week and hope that he's good to go on Sunday. They said he couldn't designate it. However, Ant, they were able to designate Jeff Wilson Jr.'s ankle sprain because he went out, was carried off the field, which didn't look great. However, it's not a high ankle sprain. It's a low ankle sprain. Kyle saying we'll see how the week goes, but he's got a chance to play, which is a great news for your special teams and great news for running back depth.
It is. And, Jeff Wilson Jr. would bring up a lot of questions about the running back room. I seen some people on Twitter, as soon as it happened, it was like, we need Frank. Bring in Frank Gore. This is why you drafted guys that you drafted. You have guys that are there that can play. But Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel are going to carry the major weight of the running back position anyways. Where you miss Jeff Wilson Jr. is in the special teams area. And the fact that the special teams played so well with Jeff Wilson Jr. going out early in this game, I remember they had mentioned that he went out with an injury. I wasn't sure what it was. I was hoping it had nothing to do with the knee. It's an ankle, and I think we're all excited about the fact that it's a low ankle sprain. You got Jeff Wilson Jr. as a tough guy. He might be able to play through it. But sometimes when you roll your ankle like that, especially if you hear a pop and stuff, it scares you, it makes you nervous. So you got to go through the different, parts of the recovery process. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he can get back out there. But I think that, with the healthy Elijah Mitchell and the way that they've been using Deebo in the run game, this isn't as crucial of an injury as it would have been maybe 5, 6, 7 weeks ago. So I'm optimistic he can be out there for special teams. I like what he adds in the possible blocking area of the run game. But now they're using Deebo Samuel in those fullback type run plays instead of Jeff Wilson Jr. because Deebo was pancaking people out there.
It's true.
How many wide receivers can do what Deebo Samuel can do? None. And I think
Zero.
the closest thing to it in the blocking area may be Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's one of the better blocking wide receivers in the league. But...
And I've seen them use him as a lead blocker through holes. The difference is that it's technique stuff with Cooper Kupp. He's very good at getting his hips around, getting guys kind of off their spot on the initial contact.
Yeah.
He's not someone who's going to go through and pancake folks, though.
No, he's not. And you saw in the game when they played before where Samson Ebukam literally threw Cooper Kupp down and then threw the tight end down and got to the quarterback. I mean,
beautiful.
That's what you can do against them because they're just not big enough. And when they keep them in for pass blocking situations, it's not good. But yeah, I think the Jeff Wilson Jr. thing is not the best, but it's also not terrible. And the fact that it's a low ankle sprain is very good news.
It's incredible news, Ant, but this isn't bad news, but this is a player who, I think a lot of people feel a lot more comfortable with this football team if he's able to go and be out there as Ambry Thomas.
Right.
And Kyle had some updates on it. He was not active against the Packers due to the bone bruise in his knee. However, he is doing better this week and is going to have a chance to potentially get out there this weekend. They're hoping he's going to be close to playing. He was a lot closer than apparently Saturday. Saturday, it wasn't as close as they would have liked it to be, which is why he was held out. Today, at this point in time, though, he's doing much better than he was even on Saturday. They're hopeful he can get into practice on Wednesday, and if they're hoping, and not an outside shot, he didn't say there's an outside chance he could, they're hoping that he's going to be in a much better position to play this week. I think this is unlike the season, where if guys were close but maybe had the possibility of going out there and re-aggravating something, they felt like, maybe we can figure this out and get this guy 1 week closer to being healthy, and they would hold guys in those positions and situations. You don't have those chances right now.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get it done. You got to be able, it's win or go home. This is potentially the last game. If you don't win, there is no tomorrow. So now guys who are, maybe extremely close, that maybe there's a possibility they could aggravate it. Most of these guys at this point are just rolling.
Yeah, and Brad Jones, no. Jeff Wilson Jr. hasn't even had a carry during the offseason.
No.
So he hasn't been an impact in that area. And we're talking about Ambry. With Ambry, I think the fact that they said that when he showed up on Saturday, they didn't even put him through a workout. He wasn't close enough for that.
True.
That kind of thing, it makes you a little bit hesitant. But then Kyle Shanahan said, the quote that I love hearing anytime that he says it is, "We expect to see him out on practice on Wednesday." Anytime you expect a player to be out there at practice when they've missed a game like this, it means they're optimistic he's going to be able to get out there, at least in a limited capacity, get himself in the right situation where he can play. And there's no holding back, because I brought this up in the video earlier, is when you have two weeks between the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, you have time to recover. So all these players that are dealing with injuries or hurts or things that are bothering them, they know I got to go give it all I got for 48 minutes, because I know the reward after that 48 minutes is I can get healthy, number one. But number two, I get to play for the ultimate prize. These guys are going to push themselves to the limit because they know that here in a few weeks, the season's going to be over, and all those things you can recover from. It's not like you've got 5, 6, 7 games left in the season.
Don't have half the season left. Right. No more bye weeks.
You got 8 quarters to go out and prove you're the very best in the NFL.
And you have a bye week next week.
Yeah, you do. You got a huge bye week, and they can handle it however they want, right? Kyle can plan this thing out, especially with the short travel to Los Angeles. You can plan this out to really rest and have your players recover. I think they're battle tested and they're ready for this, but they're going to go all in. They're going to give everything they got. And that's why when you saw at the end of the game, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, all those guys limping, is because they left every single ounce they had out on that field.
Yeah, they left it all out there. And because they left it all out there, now you have an opportunity this upcoming week, or at that point in time, it was next week. But now this upcoming week, to do it all over again and get yourself one step closer to a Super Bowl and a Lombardi trophy. And, George Kittle wanting to fulfill that, I need to get back here at the end of the 2019 season after that loss to the Chiefs. The good news, Deebo is looking like he's going to be A-OK. He's looking like he's going to be just fine. you said it post game in the post game show. You and I talked about it a little bit. I said, I don't know. It looks like he took a shot to his leg. I know he was limping. It looked like it may have been his knee. You said it is 100% his knee. He probably just took a helmet to his knee, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's looking like that's going to be the case. In fact, Kyle said he took a helmet to the knee on the last play. He's sore. We'll see how he looks. We expect to see him on the practice field this week. So he clarifies there this week, meaning they are not going to rush him back into the fold. They're going to let him recover. It's stunning, and it's almost like he's an important part of the game plan or something.
Yeah, and anytime you take a helmet to the knee, or especially a face mask, you're going to feel it. It doesn't feel nice. It doesn't feel good. And then you have to recover from it. Luckily for him, he's going to have time to recover because they got the extra day. And this is something he's going to be able to play through. He's a tough dude. But when you add in the fact that it's 0-degree weather, and the wind chill is like -12, those things are going to wear on you. And I think that, taking a hit in that type of weather definitely hurts more than normal. We've seen Deebo Samuel pushing himself to the limit, carrying this team, making those big-time carries when they need to happen. I mean, think about it. When it came down to the last play of the game and the 49ers need to get a first down, they weren't handing the rock to Elijah Mitchell, even though he's the bell cow back, the number one guy.
True.
They were giving it to Deebo Samuel. When it came down to crunch time, the 49ers on that last drive went to the guys they could count on, George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, and they got it done for him. That's what you need. You need closers in the end of the game, and Deebo's definitely a closer. He'll be out there looking to close the Rams down and get the 49ers to the Super Bowl because Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and all those guys that are the leaders on this football team, they remember what it felt like to lose in 2019. Revenge tour was a thing that everyone talked about in 2020. It did not come to fruition, but now it's on the horizon. Now they can see it, and this is something they wanted to ultimately get back to. They want to rewrite, the narrative of what this football team is, and I think they can do it with a big win over the Rams, and there's nothing that's going to stop Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams, and these guys from being on the field to prove it.
No, there's almost nothing that's going to prevent them from being able to do that at all. SoFi Stadium is going to be thumping the Niner Empire noise. Words of wisdom. I agree with you.
And everyone's been spreading the word. Don't wear your black jerseys. Don't wear your gold. Don't wear your white. Wear your red jerseys. The San Francisco 49ers are pushing to red out because it's a nice contrast from the blue and the white and yellow that the Rams use. So wear the red. So if you're going to the game, wear the red. I'm just figured we'll go ahead and shoot that out there for anyone that watches this as well.
Pump that out there and get that out to the rest of them. How long can Deebo do all of this? Will this style of play shorten his career? Says T.O. That's actually a solid question.
Well, I know for a fact that he's being asked to do this 2 more games. They're going to do it for 2 more games, and they'll reevaluate. And I think that during the season, the whole goal will be to limit the amount of snaps he takes at running back. You're probably talking 5 to 6 touches a game that he has at running back. Other than that, he's going to just play the receiver position. A lot of that will go to also who the other running back is. If you have Elijah Mitchell and Raheem Mostert, you don't need Deebo Samuel for those extra carries.
You just need him for 5. You need him for 5, that's it.
But right now, you need him for as much as he can do. If you can get 10 out of him, you're squeezing 10 out of him because Deebo Samuel is your best player with the ball in his hands. It's not even close. He's the most dynamic guy on the offense, which is crazy to say because you have the number 1 tight end in the league and you have one of the better route runners in Brandon Ayuk. But when it comes down to it, Deebo Samuel's just that guy. So I think this is not sustainable for a career. And yes, if they did this continually for the next 2 or 3 years, it would shorten his career. But he's not worried about that right now. You know what he's worried about? Getting the bag. He's worried about winning the Super Bowl and getting this huge contract.
Which is going to be huge.
And that's going to help his career. So, for sustainability, this can't happen. But in the long run, I think they'll pull it back. They'll keep another speed back, maybe a Raheem Mostert, or add another back, maybe like a Cordero Patterson that can do similar things. It was always supposed to be Jalen Hurd, right?
Always supposed to be Jalen Hurd.
The misconception is that Juwan Jennings is what they expected Jalen Hurd to be.
False.
Juwan Jennings is what Kendrick Bourne was
supposed to be.
There's the comparison.
Correct.
What Deebo is doing right now is what Jalen Hurd was supposed to do.
And there was supposed to be a complement of the both of them, right? You can do this with Deebo 3 to 4 times a game. You can do it with Hurd 3 or 4 times a game.
Yes.
You have Mostert. You have Elijah Mitchell.
Yes.
You have a developing Trey Sermon. You have all these running backs. You can spread the ball around. I mean, Kyle's got so many toys in the toy box now. This is incredible. The difference between the 2019 campaign and right now is just that. 2019, you had 3 running backs in the backfield. You had 3 guys sharing the load, and you rode the hot hand when necessary, right? Raheem Mostert gets hot in the playoffs, it's Raheem Mostert. Early in that campaign, it was Breida. Breida starts fumbling, goes down with some injuries, becomes Tevin Coleman, right? It shuffled consistently because you had so many pieces and so many guys who can do it.
Well, think about Elijah Mitchell and Tevin Coleman are very similar in their running style.
Yes.
The one thing I'll say about Elijah Mitchell is he's a little bit better after contact than Tevin Coleman. So that was the compliment, right? Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman. Now Raheem Mostert and Elijah Mitchell would have been a nice compliment to each other. You've had to use Deebo Samuel because he's the most dynamic player on the field, and you would be foolish not to ride that hot hand all the way into the playoffs and the Super Bowl. But that's a great question overall because that is something to focus on. Is that this is not what you see from Deebo right now. Don't go draft him in your fantasy next year because you think this is what you're going to get out of him. This is not what you're going to get out of him continuously. It's going to be a different role, but expect when the 49ers get into the playoffs in 2022, and that's right, I already said they're going to get to the playoffs in 2022. This sort of role will ramp right back up for Deebo Samuel.
Is it because it's the end of the season? You can't hold anything back.
Bingo, you got it.
100% there. And some other good questions as well.
Roll.
Sean, should we be rotating Mitchell more? He's played a lot of physical snaps. I think you've rotated him enough. I think you'd like to rotate him more, but you don't trust Trey Sermon. Jeff Wilson Jr. isn't Jeff Wilson Jr. And outside of Deebo Samuel, you don't have that guy that Kyle trusts to put in those situations and rotate. You can expect Kyle Juszczyk to get a couple runs. We saw one this last weekend, right? We saw two of them from Juszczyk. You're right, two from Kyle Juszczyk. And we've seen not Deebo, but Kittle carry the ball at times as well. It's really going to come down to looks when those type of guys get plays and things of that nature and the yardage that you need. But I just don't think there's another back right now in the backfield that exists that Kyle trusts.
No, and that's what it comes down to, faith. And you're in a playoff game right now. What do you know? Deebo's going to hold on the ball and Elijah Mitchell's going to hold on the ball. Because as good as Elijah Mitchell's been this year with his vision improving, the fact that he's able to get his foot in the ground and get vertical, which is great, one of his best assets is he doesn't fumble. He doesn't put the ball on the ground. And that is something you can count on. Kyle knows he can look over there and get Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell also played 11 games this season. So he's going to get the workload right now. He's going to be the bell cow guy. They do not expect this to be something that he does every single year to be the guy that gets 20 plus carries a game. But they have to have a compliment to him. And right now, if you put Elijah Mitchell out there and you leave Deebo out of it because he's just a unicorn by himself.
True.
When Kyle says, "Hey, I need the stud running back," Elijah Mitchell's there and he's looking around because there's no one with him. Trey Sermon and JaMychal Hasty aren't those guys. Jeff Wilson Jr., you're right. He's not back to form of what he was last season or 2019. So I think that they have to roll with Elijah Mitchell. This is what they need to carry him into the playoffs and Super Bowl. And this is what you're going to get. Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel are here to stay for this year. They're the Bash Brothers, as it would be.
Yes, they are the Bash Brothers right now at this point in time, man. And I love it. I enjoy it thoroughly. Over under on Hollywood bandwagon Rams fans being shown on TV in the stands. If it's an over or under, and I said 4.5, Ant, what would you go? Over 4.5 times or under 4.5 times? Over. Yeah. They show at least 10. I'm
also going over on how many people change from Ram jerseys to Niner jerseys during the game. Mid-game. As this game goes and Deebo starts taking charge, Rams fan, including marketing pro, takes off his jersey and switches over to the 49ers.
That would be pretty funny. What if his marketing pro comes into the chat and with a Niners logo?
There you go.
I've always believed in Jimmy. I knew it all along. He has been a Jimmy stan for quite some time.
He has.
T.O., if Hurd is healthy, do you see him ever making a comeback in the NFL?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, right. Look, if
you're watching what Deebo Samuel's doing right now, right?
Exactly right. That's the big thing. All the talking people on the 4-letter network and all them people are going to be looking for a Deebo Samuel. They're going to be trying to find a Deebo Samuel. The closest thing to Deebo Samuel is Jalen Hurd. I will say this. I love Jalen Hurd. Deebo Samuel's more dynamic with the football in his hands.
Way more.
And the way that he's built with that frame is different. So you would use Jalen similar, but different. But I think he's a close thing. I think Seattle would love to have him in their set. The Rams or Green Bay Packers, he would fit their scheme because they run something similar that Kyle does. But it all comes down to health. And the fact that no one sniffed him means he's really not healthy, at all. His agent hasn't got out there because, let's be honest, people are always looking for a 6'5", 230-pound wide receiver, even if it's just a wide receiver.
And after everything every team in the league has seen with Deebo Samuel, and Jalen Hurd's background, he used to play running back and was a 1,000-yard running back in college. He's a 1,000-plus-yard receiver. Teams have to be looking at that and being like, yo, that was his plan. Like what Deebo's doing right now, that was the plan for Hurd.
Yeah.
Maybe not the numbers that Deebo's doing, but that role, the hybridness, was they were supposed to share that. holy cow, we need to get this guy in here.
Yeah.
If this guy's healthy, like this is similar to what we could do.
Yeah, I think so. And he's just not healthy. That's the thing.
He's not.
And me and Jay Hill kind of talked about this the other day. He was messaging me about Cordero Patterson being someone the 49ers would go after 100%. In the offseason. I think so. Kyle even admitted he tried to sign him for like 3 straight times.
They're going to try again.
Don't think the 49ers won't also take a look at Jalen Hurd and make sure he's, where he's at health-wise. If they have any questions at all, they'll just stay away from him. But you do approach that situation. Now you have nothing to, right? You have no risk involved because you can just look at him. I think that, a lot of 49er fans would freak out. But in the same regard, if he is healthy and he could do even an ounce of what Deebo Samuel does and take some of the pressure off Deebo, something to look at in the offseason.
That's true. It's something to look at in the offseason, but that's the offseason. Megan, do you guys expect the offense to struggle a little more since this is the third meeting between these teams? And immediately with the no, why?
Because the 49ers understand what the Rams are trying to do concept-wise against them defensively, and the Rams don't have the linebackers.
That's true.
So you see an uptick in offense. And a lot of times, even when you're feeling it out, it usually is more, it's harder for a defense when both teams understand each other. Because you can move the defense around, you can do things. Yeah, the defense will have an understanding of what you're trying to do, but you always come up with a little wrinkle, a little extra. I think the 49ers offense will play tremendously better against the Rams. Right now, they have scored, in both games that they've played, the 49ers have scored, 31 and 27? I would be shocked if it's not in a similar number, even though on faceoff, Jay Hill said that wasn't a possibility. I would say anywhere from 27 to 31.
Did he say it wasn't a possibility, or did he say the Niners were incapable?
They're incapable of a blowout, is what he said. Yeah.
Very true. And TCC, I apologize for faceoff this morning. My bad. But Megan, no, I expect the offense not to struggle. It's funny. I watched Brett Coleman's breakdown of the Green Bay Packers run fits and how great they were against the 49ers. And then at the end of the episode, he goes, and now that I have put all of this on film and said it, the 49ers will now probably beat the Green Bay Packers despite the incredible run fits that they've showed against the San Francisco 49ers. And then it happened, and he called it in the thing. And it was good. It was a great breakdown of the run fits. But I watched a lot of it and was like, yeah, but the thing is Niners actually had a lot of opportunities in that game to run the football better. Trey Sermon, not really that guy yet. Some missed opportunities and blocks. And some of the way that Kyle schemed up some of the runs in that game, it didn't play well. It actually kind of played into sometimes the Green Bay's hands. They motioned Deebo to the side you're trying to run to. You got a guy following in man coverage and just shoots the gap right downhill. They changed up a lot of things in how they attacked, and they were able to execute, which I loved. The Rams, though, like you talked about, it's the physicality. Outside of your front four, there isn't a lot of physicality. What did we see yesterday in the yesterday in the red zone for Tampa Bay? A 4th and 1, in which they hand the ball up the gut to Leonard Fournette, and Reeder has a straight shot beeline at Leonard Fournette, and Leonard Fournette walks through the tackle like Reeder doesn't exist, and then bounces outside and is able to get into the end zone for a touchdown. Their linebacker play is not that great. They are not that physical at that level. Their physicality is up front, and as long as the Niners front continues to play well against them and not let Aaron Donald completely decimate you, then you should be fine. You should be able to have some success. And the fact that the Rams pass rush early got after it and late was not able to, and Tom had enough time to distribute the ball downfield, attack Jalen Ramsey, attack the other corner, attack their safety play. I don't think that bodes well. It shows that this is a team that is predicated on their first four in order to accomplish and get the job done. And if they don't, they're eventually going to get tired.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the Rams team and makeup is different than the Green Bay Packers.
True.
The edge guys like Rashawn Gary are way bigger and more physical than the guys that you're going to see from the Rams. The Rams are a little bit faster guys. We've seen Von Miller get manned up by George Kittle. So this is one of those things where it's just a different matchup. It's different skill players. Of course, Daniel Brunskill once again needs to help handle Aaron Donald. If he does, then the 49ers have a chance because it is Aaron Donald and then the two outside pass rushers that you're really worried about consistently. And when you start running the ball, it puts those guys on their heels a little bit. You add in the fact that the 49ers faithful is going to be there. I think that's good news for the 49ers. But it all is predicated on that run game early. And you're right, the linebackers for the Rams is the Achilles heel. Through the years, they've traded off those guys and they've added pieces in other ways. You can't have great players at every single position.
No, there's going to be weaknesses somewhere.
There is, and that's why you're hoping that you hit on some of those in the draft that are low cost guys that you can use. And the 49ers have decided to go all in on the front seven. Where the Rams went front line, and then secondary. But the 49ers, they went front 7, and then also in the safety position. I think that the 49ers have done it the right way. I think this is how you do it. They've proven that you can develop cornerbacks. They're doing a pretty good job with that right now. But it's all going to come down to this right now. And I think that it's going to be a fun game to watch. But I think when it comes down to it, the 49ers front 7 and linebacker core could be the difference in the game because the Rams have not proven they can run the football against the 49ers.
They haven't really proven they can run the football against anybody.
No, and it makes them completely one-dimensional. So then you know what you're going to get. Could we actually get the 49ers defense shutting the Rams down like the Rams were shut down against the New England Patriots in that Super Bowl so many years ago? Could be.
Could be the case. It's 100%. Very, very, very much so could be the case, Ant. Some other great questions as well from the TCC. I'm trying to find this here. Megan asked, do you think LA is going to keep Akers as the main back after those fumbles? Does McVay still trust him?
He has to because he's his best option. He's the most dynamic running back they have. And the problem with Akers is against the 49ers is even though he's explosive, he's still a step slow from what he used to be pre-Achilles injury. And the 49ers linebackers are tremendously fast.
Correct.
All 3 of them can run, and all 3 of them bring the wood. The first time that they get a hold of this guy, okay, he's either getting suplexed by Dre Greenlaw or he's getting absolutely peanut punched by Fred Warner. If Warner's going to punch that ball out, he's going to be going after it.
How much work is Josh Norman? After watching those fumbles, Josh Norman is everybody, look, you go in, boom, punch. Boom, punch. I mean, they're going to be working on this all week.
The linebacker crew does it except for Dre Greenlaw.
Correct.
Dre Greenlaw
just wants to hit somebody.
He just wants to hit you hard and tackle. Everybody else comes in, especially Fred when he's the second guy. He's coming out swinging.
Yes.
There's going to be opportunities there, but I think that they have to secure the ball. Sony Michel is not dynamic enough for you to worry about.
No.
But if the 49ers could shut down this front, the run game with the front 7, it's going to be a little bit harder for the Rams. I mean, they can put pressure on Matthew Stafford because I think Ambry Thomas proved that he can hold up, and now Dante Johnson proved he can hold up with this defense playing the way that they can constantly play it right now.
Agreed, Ant. Very much agreed with you on that one there. Sean asks, is Lenore going to be our next nickel corner, or are we going to keep K1? It really comes down to his development. As of right now, I don't know. K1's playing really well. Is there going to be a huge market for K1 Williams?
I don't know. I mean, I think that there will be a market, but what kind of market will it be?
I don't think teams value him that much, to be honest with you.
I think they believe that they can go out and grab a nickel corner in the draft or something and go ahead and play. I think the 49ers might value K1 Williams the most. We'll see. A lot of that also is going to, what happens with Jason Verrett, because we've had the conversations that Matt Miyoko says Verrett's coming back or could be coming back.
He could play in the nickel.
Jason Verrett could be your nickel corner in the future. I mean, you could go that route. I think Deommodore Lenoir, I think when they drafted him, that was their hope, that Deommodore Lenoir would develop into the nickel corner. But we'll see where his development is at. You just don't know. There could be a huge jump in the offseason, but the fact that he's been inactive, for the last several weeks, I mean, right now he's just not higher on the depth chart than he should be. So he's got some development to do. We'll see where he's at. The 49ers could also address it in free agency or the draft. But I think K1 Williams, Jason Verrett, to me, are the guys who make the most sense.
Did you see too that J.C. Jackson, after the performance he put up against the Bills in the playoffs for the Pats, is not going to be franchise tagged. His only hope of apparently staying with the New England Patriots is for them to re-sign him to a team-friendly deal because they don't think he's worth paying a lot of money for. And I saw already the Arizona Cardinals and a couple of the teams being like, go right now, pay him a bunch of money, get a Pro Bowl type corner in here. I think that would be a mistake for a lot of these teams to go out and spend a bunch of money on cornerbacks if that's not your biggest position of weakness.
I hope Arizona does. Spend all your money on cornerbacks because what the 49ers have proven already is that if you're playing against Deebo Samuel, you don't know where he's going to line up. So how are you going to take him away?
Can't.
That's the problem with Jalen Ramsey, right? He can play George Kittle or he can play Deebo depending on who's out there, but he can't play them both.
No.
And when you scheme it up the right way, you can find ways to get him open. So I think that, that's one of the things the 49ers have proven. They put all their stock in their front 7 and it's paid off. 2 trips to the NFC Championship in 3 seasons is a pretty nice payload.
It absolutely is. Megan says, who do you guys have, KC or Cincy? It's a tough one. It really is. Cincinnati's defense is pretty stout. The front's pretty stout. They've done a really good job of playing against run. They load up the box. They have extremely talented corners on the outside.
Yeah.
Really good safety and Bates as well. Weapons on offense. Can anyone beat Patrick Mahomes at this point?
Oh, I'm sure
in the AFC.
I'm sure someone can. The question is, are the Bengals up for the task? Because the Bengals have kind of let teams hang around, and that's what you can't do against Kansas City. You can't let them hang around. You have the Raiders; they let hang around when they really should have put the Raiders away. Then they let Tennessee hang around, and really Tennessee pretty much muffed it up, or they had a really good chance to win that football game.
Absolutely.
I think that the Bengals are maybe a year or two away. I think they're a really good team. I just don't know if they have the offensive line for it. Chris Jones is going to cause some problems on the interior.
It might be the whole D line.
And that's the thing.
Ingram.
Burrows took 9 sacks. You can't take that kind of sack number against the Chiefs and think that you're going to overcome. They have weapons. They're a young team. I think Kansas City wins the game.
I would lean your way as well, Ant. I would lean that way. However, I did just watch that Kansas City secondary against the Bills, and my was it bad.
Well, especially if Tyrann Mathieu's not back.
If Tyrann Mathieu's not back, this game could you could see another shootout. Those are entertaining. I don't know if that's necessarily good football though, and I don't know if that's winning football in the playoffs and winning football in the Super Bowl. We'll see.
Yeah.
See what happens. But look, there's some other things to talk about as well, some other reports and things of that nature to get to, Ant, besides the Rams trying to bar 49ers people from picking up tickets and being there, besides the injury updates that we saw.
I got something for him.
Oh.
Good luck.
Oh, yeah, good luck. Good luck. Good luck with that, because that's not going to go your way. It's not going to go the way you think.
Yeah.
But DeMeco Ryans, Ant, stock rising, obviously, after an incredible performance by the defense. And now apparently the Raiders have come calling, because after the NFC Championship game, DeMeco Ryans will be interviewing with the Raiders. Is this just to fulfill their quota, Ant? Because we keep hearing Harbaugh being tied to that team. Is there any chance that DeMeco Ryans is the guy that takes over for the Raiders?
I think there's always a chance, but I do think this cycle is not going to be DeMeco Ryans' cycle.
Wait, hold on a second. Matt, really bad Burgos? Go Stafford. Just because he played quarterback for you in your Detroit Lions?
Unfortunately for Matt Burgos, he's about to go full Detroit. But anyways, back to this. I think DeMeco Ryans is a great coach, a bright mind. I think that the Las Vegas Raiders, they could go DeMeco Ryans. I just don't think they do. I think they're going to interview with him. They're going to check him out and see where he's at. But I think they want to go offensive mind again. I think that that's something that they've been rolling with. They've consistently went offensive names before. I think they want to stick with that again. The only other name I could see is maybe a Dan Quinn or something like that. But it looks like if they don't hurry, he's going to get hired by the Giants or. So I don't know. I'm thinking DeMeco, this isn't his time. That it's going to be down the road.
Agreed with you on that. I do think it'll be down the road. I don't know how serious they are about this, but it is what it is. Brad said, can you believe Cohn gave Kyle's coaching a C- for the offense against the Packers? The man doesn't know football. Can we trade him to another team?
The problem is I don't know what we would get back. I don't think there's not, we talk about not a market out there for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's what they kept saying. There wasn't a market for. There's not a market for Cohn.
No, there is no.
But I think that a lot of people have a hard time grasping how hard it is to play in those type of weather conditions.
They're really struggling with it, and the fact that Grant Cohn and Jason Hill had the exact same grade for the 49ers offense tells me everything that I need to know, because he probably also gave the Packers
what did Cohn give him?
C-.
Okay, but was that on the offense overall play, or is that his decision?
I guess that's Kyle's coaching.
Okay.
He's giving Kyle's coaching
I have no problems with Kyle's coaching. I will say the 49ers production level on offense was probably around a C+.
Production was a C+.
I thought that the game plan overall executed, like the way Kyle Shanahan, dialed it up and called the plays. I thought he did a very good job.
There were open guys
who dropped footballs, but the 49ers execution-wise were definitely in the C+ area. I would say C+.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair answer.
I didn't give mine on face-off because it's not about me, but.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I mean it is. You're officiating.
Yeah.
You could have chimed in.
I could have chimed in, but I didn't. I let you guys do your thing.
You're trying to play down the middle. I appreciate that. Thank you. Cisco says Super Bowl, we get the whole trifecta: offense, defense, and special teams. He said a little bit earlier, he had this thought in the wild card. It was our run game and defense, divisional game, defense and special teams. He's hoping this game it's offense and defense as a whole. And then Super Bowl, you get all three phases. The Niners slowly build towards it.
Towards all three, yeah.
Towards all three, and actually, Ant, completing the 4-quarter game where they play their peak best potential. It's a great storyline. We'll see. That is the tall order to ask all three phases of your team to play perfect football game.
I think so, but you're expecting it at the biggest moments. And sometimes certain teams rise to the occasion. The moment will not be too big for the 49ers in the Super Bowl, no matter who they're playing. If it's Kansas City, it won't be too big for Kansas City either. The one problem with this game against the Rams is the Rams have a distinct advantage on special teams. The return game is really good,
especially the punt return category. Man,
they've got some. So the Niners are going to have to show up in a big way, and there's ways that you can counteract that. And I'll give away a little bit of something I'm going to go on in our previous show. The 49ers need to kick the ball out of the end zone every time on kickoff.
Don't even test it.
Just don't even play with it. Don't let them get any momentum. Don't let them change the game. Don't let special teams be a reason that you have to overcome an obstacle. So I think that's something that's going to play into this game. But you're right. You're building for that moment. And that's why it's complementary football. All three phases working in unison would be great. But sometimes when one doesn't show up, the other two can pick you up. And that's why it's called a football team.
That's why they're riding the bull. They're feeling the flow.
They're feeling the flow.
It's all about feeling the flow.
That.
It's all about the flow, my guy. Someone had asked a little earlier here. I'm trying to pull it up. Ronnie Montoya here. Do we focus on OBJ or Kupp? In the preview show the last time, I said this. I said Cooper Kupp is going to get his. Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. He's one of the best wide receivers in football, one of the best route runners. He's great at creating separation. And him and Stafford are very dialed in. So even when you cover him well, Stafford, for whatever reason, seems to put balls in spaces where Cooper Kupp's going to make plays. So it's really hard to take Cooper Kupp away, just like it's really hard to take away Devontae Adams. Very difficult. If you're the 49ers, you do the things you can to disguise it, take it away in certain times and certain places. But the idea here has to be to slow down the other guys. If Cooper Kupp is going to get his, then OBJ and Van Jefferson cannot. If Cooper Kupp is going to have his moments where he makes big plays, then OBJ and Van Jefferson need to be limited. The last two times the Niners have played this team and had success, that's what you've done. Cooper Kupp has gotten his. He's put up the big numbers, and that's great. But it's not enough to beat San Francisco because no one else is able to get going.
Yeah, I think it's easier to take away OBJ as well because he plays on the outside.
Correct.
Whenever he plays on the outside, you can definitely double team him, play someone over the top, and make sure that he's not able to get off. And when they do allow him to go one-on-one, they're running a cover 3 like you saw Ambry Thomas in the last play where he intercepts the football. Those are things that can work. If Van Jefferson works over the middle, so it's going to be stress for the safeties. But Jimmy Ward in every single category can hang with Van Jefferson. You're right. Cooper Kupp's going to get his. He's a good player. He's going to find voids in the defense. The thing is all you're trying to do with him is just slow him a little bit. It's not about stopping Cooper Kupp. It's about slowing him. Take away the run game. Take away OBJ. Slow Jefferson. Slow Kupp. There you go. There's your blueprint for winning. If you create 2 turnovers by frustrating Stafford, game, set, match, 49ers get it done.
That's what you love to see, Ant. Yeah. That's what you want to hear.
What's up, Blackbeard?
Blackbeard, how you doing? Rams fan in the house, Ant. Rams fan in the house, indeed. Some other news for your Behind Cutback crew. Pro Football Writers of America had their All-NFL team. On the All-NFL team, Trent Williams and Nick Bosa made the All-NFL team. And then the All-NFC team, you had, I believe it was Kittle, Trent Williams, and Nick Bosa, who all made the All-NFC team for the Pro Football Writers of America. So 3 guys who have played a huge role for the 49ers all season long, getting some just desserts, which is always nice to see. But there were some very interesting comments, and from one Deebo Samuel on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Quick shout out. Oh. What is up, Tommy Huxley? He's on a run right now, but he's listening to us. Hey, happy Monday, man.
Hey, happy Monday to you, Tommy. And hey, do you, man. Look at New Year. New Tommy out taking a run, Ant.
There you go.
I hope there's a delicious dinner coming after that, Tommy. And if so, I want to know what it is. Can we get a bang bang for the real MVP, Aaron the Toe Rodgers from 177 memorabilia? Look, he's probably going to win the MVP this year. He had himself one heck of a season. But MVPs are MVPs. Those are regular season awards.
Yeah, and Deebo Samuel came out. You're right. He has some comments about Jimmy Garoppolo. And one of the comments is basically like, hey, we're doing everything we can for our guy. Like, we're doing everything we can to help our guy win. That they are literally playing for Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo has become the Gipper. They're playing for him. They want to see Jimmy win a Super Bowl. They believe in Jimmy. They are really trying to carry that weight, and I think this is crazy. But whenever you have a team that can find something they can rally behind, it gives them a mantra to go with. It's Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo is that guy. They care about him so much as a teammate. They want to see him succeed. They want to see him get that Super Bowl. And they're all going out there and putting it on the line for Jimmy Garoppolo. So the most controversial piece in the entire 49ers organization on all social medias, in the fan base, Jimmy Garoppolo is actually the tie that brings the team together, according to Deebo Samuel.
Listen, this is so. When I saw this, the immediate thing that I thought of was the tale of two teams. The 2 sides of one coin. There were 2 teams that everyone talked about that if they made the playoffs were going to be a major, major problem. The first that we know about, obviously, as 49ers fans, was the 49ers. But the other team in the AFC was the Indianapolis Colts. It really was.
Yeah.
They dropped the ball in that last game. As soon as they lose that football game, all the comments that come out are, we don't know if Carson Wentz is the future. We've made some mistakes. Everyone's on the chopping block. I mean, not bought in and sold on the pieces and the thing that got you there. The Niners have had one message all year. Kyle Shanahan has had one thing all year. Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback. That's what we've seen. When Jimmy's healthy, Jimmy started, Jimmy's played, and the team has rallied. They haven't bought into this. There hasn't been a lot of wavering. It's a lot of just tight-knit guys. And Deebo's comments, there's never a time that we have ever doubted Jimmy. We know everything that he's capable of. Mistakes are going to happen. It's how you bounce back, and he has always bounced back. I mean, this is a team that believes in him, their leader, their captain, the guy who has a calming presence, as George Kittle talks about, the guy who, when we get the ball at the end of the hands and Jimmy comes in the huddle and speaks and looks us in the eyes and says, we're going to go down the field and score, everyone believes it. There's an aura. I said it. The aura, when he first got here, it felt like, man, this guy can do no wrong. And right now, he's doing some wrong. But even when he's doing wrong, Ant, at the end of football games, when you need him to show up, he's been showing up. The team believes, no matter what, if this game's close, we're going to come out of this thing with a W. And as long as they keep playing that way and slowly fixing the mistakes that they've had, and Jimmy starts playing a little bit cleaner as he gets more comfortable with the thumb, as you get him in a dome for the next 2 games, regardless, things should, in theory, trend better for Jimmy Garoppolo, trend better for this team. And now it's just about taking care of the football and other aspects and not making mistakes.
Yeah, you're right. He's been, I believe I said this in the reaction show, he's cool as a cucumber in the final minutes.
Accurate.
I mean, he just looks comfortable out there. He's walking to the sideline during a timeout, and it just reminded me of, of Tom Brady. Or it was just like, he just walked over there like, yeah, we're about to do this. We're about to do this thing. He's definitely confident in his abilities. The thing that should scare everyone, including the Rams or Kansas City or Cincinnati, is that Jimmy Garoppolo figures this out and plays 4 quarters of tremendous football. If he ever plays to his full potential for 4 quarters,
yikes!
It's going to be bad for them.
Yeah,
that is what their ultimate worry is, because Jimmy Garoppolo in certain moments is just hitting, and then there's moments he doesn't. But I think if he can tie together, 3-4 good quarters of football, the way he was playing in Green Bay in the first quarter, I think that a lot of teams will be really worried about him because he can be dangerous. And the fact that he is a cool and calming presence is huge.
It's very true. And Calvin Roberts said, Warner, no team made for the pro football writers. Correct. No team made. Warner has gotten absolutely no love this year from anybody. And you know what? He's making everyone right now in the playoffs eat their words, as is another fellow on the D-line, Eric Armstead, who got no love all year long and has put together one heck of a playoff run so far.
Yeah, no, him and Nick Bosa are getting it done, and the other guys are being a great supporting cast. This defensive line is a catalyst for how the 49ers play. Over the last 3 weeks, 15 sacks, 77 pressures. That's how you do it. 5 guys with more than 2 pressures in this last football game. Fantastic.
Very, very true. Omar Art at Rams will beat the 49ers pretty easy this time. I like the confidence. Misplaced. I like it.
Was he serious?
I think he is.
Oh, he's serious. Okay.
He is serious.
Sorry, I didn't know if I was waiting for the punchline.
No, there was no punchline. He's just...
Then tell me why.
I would love to know why.
Yeah, let me know why. And if you can give me real reasons, we'll have a conversation about it.
100%. We'll see if there's actual reasons and if this guy's just...
I think it'll be a close game, but handle him easily?
Yeah, no, that's not there.
Yeah.
Brad Jones, Deebo not making the writers team either. Accurate. From what I saw, it did not look like it. I may have misread it, but it did not look like that was the case.
That's wild to me.
True, Ant. It's a little wild.
Yeah.
So it's a little crazy. Tommy said Stafford is looking better. Do you think because the pass rush or the Bucks are overrated?
I think Stafford looks better in certain situations. If you notice in the first part of the 49ers game in week 18, he looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looked like an all-pro, all-world quarterback. The problem is at some point, the 49ers made it close, and then he was in trouble. That's when he started making mistakes. He started, kind of letting it fly a little bit. And that's the thing, it's pressure. Once you get pressure in his face, he doesn't handle pressure the same way that some of the other great quarterbacks do. And that's what it's about. And the 49ers are going to need to put continuous pressure on him. But if it does happen, he's not one of those guys that has the experience of playing in these games. Believe it or not, Jimmy Garoppolo on the other side has the experience of playing in an NFC Championship game. You can say what you want about his performance in any of these games, but he at least has been there. And he saw somebody do it at the highest level in Tom Brady. He's going to be well equipped to handle those situations. Matthew Stafford is something new. It doesn't mean he's not going to show up and do very great. But what that he's
not capable.
Or that he's not capable. However, you like your chances if you can put pressure on him early in this game.
Correct. And listen, there is a lot of pressure on the Rams to perform, just like there is the Niners to perform. The Niners, if you're the Niners, you didn't do all of this. You haven't come all this way just to be like, man, I can't believe we got here. Right? I can't believe we just made it. I'm just so happy that we're here. Like, we got to this point. Nobody in that locker room is happy with just being in the NFC Championship
Better
game.
chance of that in 2019 than now.
100%, because 2019, you weren't supposed to be that team.
Yep.
You were supposed to be a team that made the playoffs and, starting to climb the ladder on the way to a Super Bowl. You weren't supposed to make the dang thing.
That's why Sherman was so important in 2019.
Correct.
He was the one that addressed them as, hey, this isn't enough. Winning the division isn't enough. We need to go make sure we win the whole thing. That's why he was so important. But that experience in 2019,
you have so many guys in the locker room saying that now.
And you have guys like Trent Williams that this means everything to him because they've never gotten to that point.
I mean, he never made a playoff.
They made playoffs. They had never won a
playoff game until he got to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's
people that are hungry. You have the mixture of the guys who want redemption. You have the mixture of the guys that are just hungry to get there. And you have the guys that are just, the moment's not going to be too big for them, right? You got the 1994, Super Bowl situation. You got Ricky Waters and William Floyd. They don't realize this moment is so big. They're just out there playing. You need a mixture of all that. And Kyle actually talked about that last week.
He did. Omar has said, Megan, if you're mentioning me, I'm not kidding around, by the way. I'm always right. Omar is always right. This
is where the rubber meets the road, isn't it?
It is, because there's a game we play around here, and it's not really a game because the outcome has already been decided. The game is called I Win, starring not yours truly, but yours truly over here, Mr. Robertson, Anthony here.
I Win is not enough. If you want to just say you're always right, that's not enough. But you know what? I'll take it into consideration. I'll consider what you're going to say, and when I give my score prediction on Friday on the game preview show, I will guarantee you, Omar, you will not be happy with what I say.
And I love it.
Yeah,
I really, truly do. Look, this is going to be a very interesting game. There's going to be a lot of great things that happen. It's a great opportunity and moment for both teams. I'm excited. And then we also had the news of the officiating crew, which I think was Sherelle was the guy I believe that I saw. Carl Sheffers, excuse me, Sherelle. Yeah. Carl Sheffers' crew. He has reffed 2 49ers games this season, the home win against the Texans and the home loss against the Seattle Seahawks. So this is an officiating crew the Niners are familiar with. I guess if you wanted to look at ref statistics, he has called a decent amount of penalties. However, most of those penalties are on the home team. That is an interesting stat. However, home teams tend to win 53% of the time for Mr. Sheffers.
Yeah, 53% is pretty equal, right? I mean, that's pretty close for the amount of games that he's done. Before I get into that, I did see where Sean was asking for wearing our throwbacks. You're not going to be able to wear any throwbacks in the playoffs or the Super Bowl. The NFL doesn't like it. They want everyone to wear their traditional colors. But yeah, as far as the referee crew, I think the 49ers are going to get another good crew that should be able to work call this game down the middle, kind of how we had against Green Bay. I thought it was a real good referee crew. I thought the Dallas one was a little but I thought that this one was great. I thought it called it both ways. And I'm hoping we're going to get that from Sheffers as well. And I believe we will. I think it's going to be hopefully the refs stay out of it for the most part. Let the game be decided on the field. Anytime that happens, that plays in the favor of the 49ers because they're the more physical football team. They're going to be able to bring it. It's when you get those holding calls that all of a sudden are backside away from the play that can frustrate a 49ers offense. But I think this is going to be a good one.
Very true, Ant. Very, very true. Could be the case. Brad says no team wins 7 straight games. Maybe this is the reason the Rams win. It's for me. I'm never one who buys into this idea or the notion that if you've beaten a team too many times that they're due. They're only due if you're not going to go out and execute. They're only due if you're not going to go out and play your best game, put your best foot forward, and not be prepared. This is the NFC Championship game. You're going to be prepared.
The one thing I will say is, Alex, you've coached and I've coached.
Yep.
Is I had ownership on teams where I've never lost to them, like ever.
Ever.
Like literally the field is named after me because we don't lose there.
Accurate.
Same here. There's a real thing around when you play football team, at some point, the losing team gets in a mental space. And I'm not saying the Rams are there or they're going to get there, but you get in a mental space where it becomes a mental obstacle to be able to beat that football team. For whatever reason, you can't figure out why you can't beat them, and you go in there, and when things start going the other way and you start losing, you get in your own headspace, and you're like, here we go again.
Here it is.
I can't get it done.
Yep.
And even though psychologically you believe you're giving your best effort, at some point you're kind of letting yourself down a little bit. The whole quicksand thing is a real thing. And sometimes ownership on a team like that can wear on you, and it just beats you down. And that's why some teams just can't win against other teams. I'm not saying that's the case, because I think the Rams are a very good football team. I think this is going to be a big one, and I'm not excited about playing a team 3 times in one season. But I think if any team can go in there and do it, it's the 49ers.
You are correct there, my guy. When I was coaching high school basketball, my first year at the school, at Ben Holt, we played that Delta Charter. Those Delta Charter folks, they got off, and they were the all bus team. They got off the bus, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, they look like the Monstars.
They're big. I mean, really, it was just like, oh, and then you see them go out there, and you're like, oh, okay. I think there's something here. My first year, intimidated. Guys weren't ready for it. Couldn't handle it. We got waxed twice. After that year, there was just a lot of waxing for about 5-6 years and about 12 games that it wasn't close. And you witnessed a couple of them, including some big wins at their place, and then the throttling at our home facility, in which we were up. I think it was like 42 to 6 at midway through the second quarter, and their coach had burned all their timeouts, and basically there's just give me to halftime. Let's go home, because this is just done. There are teams and there are moments and times where if you have the pieces, you have the coach, you have the players, the scheme and things of that nature, that you just put together game plans that it doesn't matter what they do, who they have, unless they can stop what you want to do. There's no hope. There's no way to slow things down and have success. And welcome D. Will to the Cutback crew.
Yeah, welcome D. Will.
Newest subscriber. So look, I think this is a situation for the 49ers where they're going to have an opportunity against this team. They match up well with this team. The weaknesses of the Rams are the strengths of the 49ers. And some people would say, well, the weaknesses of the 49ers are the strengths of the Rams. Correct. However, it goes twofold. Yes, the Niners secondary is questionable for some people, but the Rams interior O-line is suspect. It ain't questionable. It's suspect, because they're either average or piss poor. And the 49ers front four, it ain't piss poor.
No, it's not. I mean, there are question marks all over the Rams offensive line. And this defensive line, there's 0 questions. And they come in waves. You saw it in the first drive of the game for Green Bay. The second wave of 49ers defense, the rotation was in there. They don't change. They just put their guys in, and the rotation stays the same. The only time you'll see a rotation, break out of formation is when you're getting into a moment where it's 3rd and long. And then for a fact Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead are going to be on the field. The other cast of characters could be different. But that's kind of how they handle business. I think that this is an intriguing matchup, because you're right. Some of the weaknesses of one team match up with the strengths of the other. But for some reason, the 49ers have consistently been able to beat the Rams, whether that's Kyle Shanahan knowing, kind of having an idea and a pulse of what Sean McVay likes to do, or the fact that the 49ers have built a way and a football team that is kind of a style that made to win championships. Maybe it'll lose a few more football games in the regular season than it should, the way it's built, because of the offense, the way it's handled. When you get into the playoffs, everyone knows you have to have a good run game and you have to have a great defense. The 49ers have a good run game and a great defense, and that means you have an opportunity to win any game you're in. And that's all you're asking for, is an opportunity. And right now, what do we know? The team that's been able to get it done consistently at the end of the game is the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm going to roll with them until they prove that they can't get it done. And right now, they've gotten it done every single time they've been asked to do so. Accurate.
JJ, great question here. JJ96795. Do you think the Rams aren't prepared? Do you think the defensive line is not able to beat them? No one said the Rams weren't prepared.
I think the Rams are prepared.
Extremely prepared.
I think they're a good.
Why wouldn't
team.
They? You know the 49ers. You're friends with the coach. You understand the scheme. You learned in the scheme. And John Burt de Guzman, welcome to the Cutback crew. So no, they're 100% prepared. And yes, their D-line beats a lot of teams.
Yeah.
They haven't beat the Niners though.
No, I think, and this is a misconception when we're talking about the teams, and we say that we're talking up the 49ers. It doesn't mean we discount what the Rams can do.
No, Rams are.
That's literally what we talked about, is the strengths of the Rams match up with some of the weaknesses of the 49ers. This is going to be one of those things. But the Niners are built in a way that's just a little bit different than the Rams. The Rams are built, they're an exciting team. That offense is really good.
100%.
But when it comes down to it, for some reason, whatever the reason is, Daniel Brunskill has been able to neutralize, Aaron Donald. And we talked about this in the last one. When is that? We keep waiting for that shoe to drop, right? We keep waiting for Aaron Donald, the all-pro, the beast that he is, to handle Daniel Brunskill, and we haven't seen it. In fact, we saw them move Aaron Donald to the outside against the 49ers, line him up outside of, Colton McKivitz, and then bring him in on stunts on the inside. It's a different way of handling this situation. I think that the Rams are a very good football team, very good. I just think the 49ers are a little bit better. I think the Rams are going to come out and they're going to be ready to go. I think this is going to be, like we said, a slobber knocker.
I said this the other day too on one of the live streams. You're going to get an A+ game plan and effort from the Rams team, and you're going to get a better effort than you saw in Week 18. And Week 18 was a dang near perfect performance from the Rams. Came out, kicked the Niners in the mouth early, bullied them, but didn't sustain for four quarters. I think you're going to get a even better performance this time around from the Rams.
Shout out to Kevin Jimenez. Bought tickets to the game, going on Sunday, going to be representing the red and gold. Shout out to you, Kevin.
Taking over.
Yeah, be loud out there.
Hey, if you still have any funds left, Kevin, go hit up John Chapman, the 49ers Rush podcast, 49ers Rush road trip. They're going to do a takeover event, and you can hang out with some other 49ers content creators. Enjoy and talk 49ers. Take over a restaurant and bar in that area and have a good time, man. So, hey, be safe. Enjoy it, my guy. And pictures, please.
Yeah, Faithful, go take over.
Please.
And I think that's another thing that's going to play into this, right? How much red and blue are we going to have? What's it going to look like? What's the amount that's going to be separated? I mean, the one thing I know about the Faithful, it doesn't have to be split 50-50 between Rams fans and 49er fans for the Faithful to be louder. I mean, they just get out there and they make themselves and their presence known. But I'm excited about all the people. I mean, I went on Twitter feed earlier today, and it was just like every other tweet was, got my tickets, headed to LA. Got my tickets, headed to LA. From all over the country, 49ers Faithful is going to show up in a big way. Red Takeover's real. Red
Takeover's real. Red out for Kevin Jimenez, so make sure you got your red there, man, and represent my guy. I'm excited for you. I hope the Niners start out hot as well. Yeah. I hope they do. Sean said body bag game 2. It's going to be that. That is for sure. And Gary, you are 100% accurate, my guy. Cutback crew, hit that like button. We're sitting at 43 likes. There is 140 of you in the chat right now. Smash that like button. Get those likes up right now. And if you're watching this, you're contemplating, I don't know if I should subscribe. I've watched a couple of you guys' stuff. Look, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Yeah. And if you end up hating us later, it's okay. You can unsubscribe and no worries. It's a click of a button. It takes you 2 seconds. And it helps the channel out more than you can possibly know. Pumps this content out to even more of the faithful so we can continue having these incredible, great conversations and bringing you these news updates. Because I'll tell you what, man, this is going to be a week. There's going to be information flying out everywhere, status updates on players, what's going on. And because we're doing these right now, right? We're doing these live streams right now, daily news live streams at the end of the day, at the end of the night. That means you're going to have even more original content for your daily episodes coming throughout the week with even more topics to discuss.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks, Jan Stewart said smashed and sub. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I seen that Brad Jones said Rams will be ready this time with the silent count. You're right. They will.
They 100% will.
And you know what that means? They had to prepare for it. They have to prepare for a silent count in their own stadium. That is something that can't be forgotten. Is the 49ers, that effect makes this game even. Is it still a home field advantage? Of course.
100%.
But now it's not 100% a home field advantage, right? Maybe it's like 70%. So it takes some of that advantage away. That's big news. So just because it doesn't really affect them on the field, it does affect them in practice.
It does. And Nicole C. just joined the Cutback crew as well.
Nicole. Appreciate it.
Jan, if you did smash and sub as well and join the Cutback crew, if your name doesn't pop up, it may just be because you're not public access. So you don't have public access to the channel. Anyone whose profile is not public, don't get notified here. We get notified just on the YouTube studio page, not here with Stream Elements as well. I didn't see the name that just joined, but it'll pop up on Stream Elements here in a little bit. So thank you also for joining the Cutback crew as well.
Yeah, we'll shout you out as soon as it pops up.
As soon as it pops up, we will. But the Rams are playing with 2 backup safeties from Tommy Huxley. Is that going to be a factor? Could big plays be made up the middle?
Yeah, I think that even before it's Rap, right? I mean, he's the main guy.
Correct.
If he might be able to come back, I don't want to count him out, but they did bring in Eric Weddle, right? Weddle's an experienced guy, but he's off the couch. There's definitely plays to be made down the middle of the seam and down that part of the field. I think that could be a weakness, that they could go and take advantage of. I mean, where do the 49ers want to live? Once again, it's predicated on run game. Get that run game going, and then it's going to open up. It's going to create a void. And we know every team has been running a too high safety look and then bringing that second guy up to run a robber situation. So you get a cover one robber. The 49ers have been really able to handle that recently, and I don't think that's going to confuse Jimmy Garoppolo. And in fact, the Packers didn't run it a whole lot from what I've seen. I want to get into the All-22 film, break it down, but I think that the Niners are well equipped, and I think the safety position is something that the 49ers can definitely go after.
Stream Elements is updated, and Megan just let us know it was Portuguese. Portuguese, the newest member of the Cutback crew.
Thank you, Portuguese. Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out to Portuguese.
Portuguese. Lots of people subbing. I love it. You guys should do a roundtable with Cone, Shu, Jane, and Vish. Well, here's the problem. Jane is never going to do anything with this, Jan.
Maybe not.
Never.
We would not be against it.
Never say never. We'll do it. We'll work with anybody. We don't care.
Yeah.
Especially anyone that's 49ers content creator. It'll be a fun conversation whether we agree or disagree. But there's a couple people I don't think who want to do a lot of stuff with us. Because Jesse Naylor said he wanted to start working with some newer content creators. Someone actually tagged us and sent it to him and essentially said, we already have 2K subs. They don't need the help. So I don't think there's some people who aren't going to want to do stuff. That's A-okay. But we're willing to work with anybody. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to pronounce it, but thank you and welcome to the Cutback crew. I think it's Victor and some other stuff. Yeah. I'll work on it. I'll try and get it right for the next one. But man, this is a huge week, man.
Yeah.
It's a huge week with so much information, so many things happening. I'm excited. I'm really excited for all of this. I'm really excited for the opportunity that is in front of this team.
Yeah.
The chance that you have here, because not a lot of people thought the Niners were going to be able to overcome the 4-game losing streak after you won the first 2 games of the season. They haven't just overcome it, man. They've completely put it in the rearview mirror. They're a completely different team now, and we got an opportunity. And JMW85 joined the Cutback crew as well. Welcome to the Cutback crew.
Yeah, welcome JMW.
Victory Blue Fire, I think is what it is. So Victory Blue Fire,
thank you,
welcome.
Victory. Yeah.
Welcome to the Cutback crew. Is Deebo okay to go this Sunday? It's looking that way.
Yeah, Deebo's going to be good to go. It's more of a helmet to the knee. So you probably got some bruising and stuff like that. Anyone that's played football knows especially when it's cold, you take a helmet to the knee, even in normal temperatures,
not fun.
Freaking hurts.
Yep.
So that's what happened there. And he's going to be good to go, but I'm sure they're going to monitor him through the week. I wonder if he practices early on, and even then it's probably going to be a little bit limited, but he's going to be good to go. There's nothing that's going to keep Deebo from being out on that field.
He's just going to be limited. Yeah, he's just going to be limited at practice this week. That's it. And Christopher just said Deebo's going. 100%. We agree with you.
Christopher's on it. Yeah, for sure.
We're with you on there, man. He's going to be going this week. That is for sure. Sean said us and with Brad and Aponte. And we know Brad.
We have sat with Brad at training camp.
Yes.
We were with Brad and Splash Cousin.
Yes.
So yeah, we know who they are. We were right there. We're all doing our own thing.
We're supposed to do some stuff with Splash Cousins, but it just timing has never worked out.
Yeah, it fell through. So I'm sure that at some point we could definitely work with him. Brad's a good dude. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's doing, and that would be fun. I would definitely be interested in working with him. He's a smart guy, understands offensive line play, especially. So yeah, that would be a good one.
Aubrey Thomas as well is looking like he's in a better position. Kyle said today that he's basically looking better than he was on Saturday. He's closer than he was on Saturday. He expects to see him at practice this week. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if they're able to get some things going and have some fun. KNDR at this rate, you guys will hit 3K in no time. That would be great. We love having all the new members of the Cutback crew, all the new people joining. Again, look at these conversations. The last few times that we have had live streams and done stuff, the conversations have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, people have been bringing it in a big way. I mean, great questions, great conversation overall. Very knowledgeable people, very knowledgeable fans, and that's what's exciting about getting to talk to everyone is that these guys, everyone knows what they're talking about, and that's important. That's fun. Good questions, and right now the 49ers are giving us a lot of great topics to have because they're continuing to win in the playoffs, and nothing is more exciting than January football. Oh wait, there is February football. So 49ers, go ahead and get this win against the Rams and give us all what we want. February football.
We love February football. Soothing Sounds, Peacock and Crocker. We would love that. We actually know Croc. Croc is from this area. He's from where we're from. He actually went to the same high school as me.
Yeah, believe it or not, I played against Crocker's brother.
Yep.
So Crocker we're very familiar with. We have not worked with Crocker.
No.
How we have not worked with Crocker yet is
kind of crazy.
It's crazy because we could literally.
Hey, Croc's busy though.
Yeah, he's a busy man. He works hard. And Brian Peacock does a great job. I listened to Locked On. I actually listened to it this morning when I was working.
Okay.
And I think that they do a really good job. I was listening to the recap. But yeah, all those guys are good content creators, and I would love to work with them. Yeah, definitely.
Hey man, listen. And streaking marketing pros tears from T.O.
They've been trying to guess what is in the cup It's Marketing Pros Tears.
There you go. You finally got it right. Congratulations, Cutback crew.
Well done.
Took you a little bit longer than I would have liked, but hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Should we be sending anyone to help Compton? Chipping maybe. Sean, they did later in that football game.
Yeah,
100% did.
They started using Kyle Juszczyk to chip. They're gonna have to use it in some ways. Now it's a different matchup. Rashawn Gary, the problem with Tom Compton he couldn't anchor down against the stronger Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary's a guy that played inside and has moved outside, and he plays, the 5 technique, and he's really good. And his single arm is fantastic. He gets into Tom Compton's chest plate, and he was getting him moved back. That is a different type of rush than you're going to see from the Rams. Von Miller can do that. But besides Von Miller, the only other guy I can think of on that defensive line that could rush from the edge and give Tom Compton those problems in the same way is Aaron Donald. Do they want to move Donald out there? I don't think so. That'll leave the 49ers an avenue to run right up the middle and get to those weakened, linebacker core. So I think that they're going to play the guys from the outside. So it's going to be all about speed rush. So they're going to have to go ahead and run certain types of plays. You're going to take advantage of that speed, whether that's using your guys like Kyle Juszczyk and them to kick those guys out. Let Compton go second level. Let those edge rushers come up the field and then kick them out, or run screen passes and that sort of thing. If they do, they'll slow down the Rams' pass rush.
100%. They definitely will. We'll see how they decide to scheme this up and how the execution comes early in this football game. Glad the Rams won. Was by far the best outcome for the Niners from JMW 85, 45-minute flight versus flying cross country. SoFi is basically a home game for the Niners. You are correct, sir. A lot of those things play very well into the 49ers.
Never have to leave California again. Even with the win, you never leave California again. The 49ers know for the rest of the season they're in California.
That is correct, and I'll tell you what, man, that is absolutely incredible. It's a great thing. Cutback crew, look, if you enjoyed this live news update, this live stream, talking about all the news for the day, today, hit that like button. Let us know right now in the comment section as well what you loved so much about it. Listen, there are so many content creators. There's so many different people on the platform. It's so hard sometimes to get out there to the rest of the faithful, but all of you tuning in right now helps so much. And listen, as a fan base, we're spoiled.
Yeah.
There are so many great players on this team. There have been so many great quarterbacks throughout the years, so many great coaches. And now in an age where social media is present, you have so many different opinions, voices, and ways to view the 49ers. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us talk about this football team, and we ain't done. We're not done the rest of this week. You're going to get one of these every day for the rest of this week heading into this playoff game. We're going to talk up with you every night about the news, what's going on with this team, the direction we're heading into this game with the Rams, the battle for California, as Christopher just put it, which is absolutely phenomenal. That is great. This is going to be a fun week. There's going to be a lot of great topics, a lot of great conversations, and that means that our daily videos are no longer this week going to be news updates, but instead different topics. So if you want to see a specific topic, you want to see something specifically talked about 11 a.m., drop that in the comment section below, because maybe one of your topics will be featured as a daily episode.
Yeah, if you have some topics you want to hear or you want more in-depth analysis on, drop it for sure. We'll get into that for sure. We're looking to put out a little bit of extra content this week, including these live streams. I think it's going to be exciting. It's a time that the 49ers fans is at a fever pitch, and Tommy Huxley.
Tommy, no!
Tommy ate it, and so that made me chuckle while you were talking. I'm hopeful Tommy's okay, but this is going to be an exciting week. The NFC Championship game. This is what you hope for. You hope for an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. All you need is an opportunity. This is what we talked about way back when the 49ers were 3-5, right? People said, hey, the 49ers are pushed off the ledge, and we kept saying, no, they're not. They have this opportunity, and now they've proven everybody right that was stuck with them, and we'll see what happens. They got to beat the Rams, but it's a good matchup for the 49ers, and if they can get it done, then it's Super Bowl again, and twice in 3 years. That's big time for the 49ers fans and 49ers faithful.
It definitely is. It's big time for the Cutback crew. It's big time for the faithful. It's big time for this team, the organization, all the players that you drafted. Listen, every win now is just an even better situation as well for the Trey Lance trade, because that draft pick slowly starts working its way towards being basically a second-round pick. So if you get out of this game, you're guaranteed you're only giving up a 31 or a 32, and that's great news for the 49ers, because that means you swapped first, gave up a second, and then whatever you do next year is what you gave up. You may end up only really giving up one first-round pick. And in that situation, for what was this year, a quality backup quarterback that could win you football games and make things competitive and close, whatever he becomes next year or the years after that, it ends up being a steal for San Francisco. This is absolutely incredible. Like the Niners have been saying, and not only whatever it takes, I don't want this to end.
No, I don't want it to either. And what's up, Raina? You said, hey, faithful.
How you doing?
What is up? And I think this is going to be one of those games that is going to come down to the wire, but I think it's going to give the 49ers all the excitement that they can handle. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And the 49ers have done lots of things for us in the drama department this year. If we could ever institute a blowout, if you could do that for us 49ers, if you could save our hearts, and give us,
well, not only save our hearts, but make face-off next Monday be absolutely glorious, because Jay Hill's got to do whatever we say.
That's true. Which is crazy, right? But yeah, I'm excited about it. And this game is going to come down to the wire. There's going to be a lot of cool matchups. Alex, as we get into this week, we're going to be breaking down all the matchups, all the key matchups that the 49ers need to win. And it's going to be fun. And I'm looking forward to it. This is what we asked for. This is what we want as fans. All the way back in training camp, me and you headed out there, watching the game or watching the practices and getting a feel of this team. We knew this was a possibility. They just had to go prove it on the field. There are rough patches, but they've definitely got to where they need to go. And now it's about taking care of the Rams. All that work for this one moment. It's going to be fun. It's
going to be a lot of fun, and congratulations, why not, for the big win in Vegas, baby. Don't spend it all in one place. Don't.
Oh, nice.
Don't do that, my guys. Don't do that. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but hey, it is what it is. Look, this is going to be a lot of fun, and they're not going to want to miss tomorrow's daily video, in which we are going to discuss how the 49ers got here, how they got to this point, because a lot of people still don't know how. I'm still seeing people talking about, I don't even know how we won that football game last Saturday. And a lot of people were convinced this team wasn't going to make an NFC Championship, wasn't going to have a chance to make a deep run in the playoffs. It was probably going to be one and done. And now we're here, NFC Championship, one game away from a Super Bowl. So we want to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. That's tomorrow's daily. You're not going to want to miss that, 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then we'll be right back here at 5:30 p.m. for a nice news update live stream. And you're going to have content all throughout the week. So make sure you like this video, you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and smash that notification bell. 30% of the Cutback crew has notifications turned on. That means you may be late to something, and you don't want to be late because the news may be breaking, and you don't want to hold up the whole chat if you showed up 30 minutes late because you weren't notified. So hit that notification bell.
And that's cool. I mean, he said he bet in the beginning of the season Super Bowl. Well done.
True.
Well done.
The hope is, Megan, by the way, that as long as the All-22 film is out on Wednesday, we'll actually be able to review it this time. But because they have not done that, just way to go, NFL Game Pass. And Dre L. PK, I don't know what that was, but hey, welcome to the Cutback crew.
Welcome to the Cutback crew. It'll update us, and we'll let you know, or we'll get into it. But yeah, all week there's going to be content coming out every single day. So jump back over to the channel, let us know what you think of everything. If you got topics you want us to discuss, bring those up. But make sure you're here tomorrow for the live stream. We're going to get after it again. If you have questions you want to answer or to ask, then go ahead and populate the chat with those, and we'll get into them along the way. So we really like to have the interaction with everyone that's on there. It's going to be a fun week, and I'm sure that there's going to be things that come up, and hey, we're here to talk about it. Let's have fun.
Absolutely. Drea, welcome to the Cutback crew. And Cutback crew, man, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a fun week. We'll catch you on the next one. And I think it's that time. We got to go get Big Yikes ready for Patreon. So I think it's time to chalk this one up, man.
All right, let's chalk another one up.
11 a.m. tomorrow, and patrons, Big Yikes coming soon.